Hello, hello, hello. Welcome all. We're super excited for another fantastic webinar. As you are coming in, please say hello by dropping your name in the chat and where you're joining us from. East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, Chicago, woo, woo, LA. Where are you joining us from? Go ahead and say hello and drop your name in the chat in your city. Make sure that you're hitting to everyone so it isn't going to hosts and panelists. Come on in the room. Hey, Eric. Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome, Eric from College Station, Texas. Is that by Houston? Is it by Austin? Where is that? Not familiar with College Station. Hello, Autumn. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Marianne. 90 miles northwest of Houston. Wow. So that's past Dalton. I mean, Dallas, past Dalton. It's past Dallas. Hey, Hernan. Hey, Crystal. Oh, we got Joliet in the house. Whoop, whoop. Joliet, Illinois. Come on in and say hello. We are super excited to have you today. So, guys, welcome to our webinar series, Enhancing and Empowering Conversations for Positive Change. As you know, we have these at least once a month. We have these great webinars where we are introduced to different concepts and topics and all of that stuff, all for the sake of positive change. And today is no different. We have some fantastic guests with us today that I'm super excited to bring to you. You may be familiar with some of them, and some of them may be new to you. So get ready for the conversation. Next slide, please. Hey, Alicia. Hey, Ron. Hey, Denise. Today on our webinar, when you're ready to speak, please raise your hand. We'll ask you to unmute yourself. Feel free to type your comments in the group chat. Make sure that you click to everyone. If you don't click to everyone on that little drop down, it's just going to go to us, the panelists. So make sure that it's going to everyone. Please be patient with us. Also, if you have some questions, we do have a Q&A section where you can also drop your questions there. So please be patient with us and we'll get to everybody as we can. Thank you. Next slide, please. These are our agreements. Hey, Terry, NPCLT in the house. So these are our agreements, and this is how we try to create a safe space and encourage people to be brave in the conversations. If you're invited to share on the screen, speak your own experience, use I statements, follow the golden rule, treat other people the way you want to be treated. You know, this is our cafe agreements wrapped up in a nice little, gift wrap because we don't want people to feel judged and we don't want people giving people advice because you can get all of that on social media, not in this platform. Please, no multitasking. It is lunchtime. We know that you're doing what you want to do because it's lunchtime. But guys, don't miss this. You get some great people, some great presenters today. And so don't miss the opportunity to learn from them. And if you need a minute, take a minute. All right. I need you to put agree. I need to see agree in the chat before we keep moving. Go ahead and drop that I agree. Yay. I love it. I love it. Let me put my I agree too, because I agree. Gonna make sure this space is nice and ready for us. Fantastic. All right, Lori, I think we can go to the next slide. Lori is doing tech for us today. Thank you, Lori. Woo-woo. All right, so today's webinar, the parent influence, why we become parent leaders. Today, rocking the webinar platform are members of our National Parent Cafe leadership team. Some of you guys have met them before, some of the members before. They used to do webinars when we first started in COVID. They did a couple webinars for us, and some of them are back today. Our National Parent Cafe leadership team is a group of parents from across the country who love cafes. Not only do they help to host cafes and hold space for people in our cafes, they also serve as our ambassadors. They serve on our board. They help to influence our parent-focused curriculum. They also help to create our conversation decks, the various ones that we have. They review. They don't go into production until after they've been reviewed by our team. They just really help us in so many ways to be who we are as Be Strong families. And as we were thinking about this webinar, this month is National Parent Leader Month. And I came to the team and said, I would love for you guys to do something around, why people become parent leaders, why you guys become parent leaders, and, or, some way to honor or to get their voice in the room for this month. And they wanted to talk about why they become parent leaders and why they stay, right? Because the reality is that it takes a lot of kahunas to be a parent leader with some organizations, and then it takes a lot to stay sometimes. Some organizations make it easier than other, but we always tend to have great parent leaders who come along beside us and help us aside us and help us to make things better. And we believe at Be Strong Families that everything is better when you have a parent voice in the room, when it's influenced by parents. So today we have with us Andrea Long. Andrea is a veteran spouse of 25 years and a parent of two. She's a spiritual leader and also a certified life coach. We have Takayla Taylor. Her co-workers call her Cat. She's a proud mom of four children. And she's a parent ambassador for the Kane County Health Department. And as a parent ambassador, she focuses on high quality early childhood services for all children and families in Illinois. She's also part of the team, the National Parent Café leadership team. She's very active in her community. She volunteers at schools in District 300 and other community churches. She owns a trucking and a hair company, and she's a social media influencer on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. She is also in the work of creating a not-for-profit organization for the services she offers, which can help others get on their feet by teaching them financial literacy and providing services. She loves the work she does for the community because it enables her to assist in rebuilding the community in all areas. Next to her, we have um, Baba J, Dr. Onaji Muid, who is a father and grandfather community organizer for healing historical trauma and reparations. And last but not least, we have Anisika Roston. She's a Kansas City, Missouri native and has been involved with parent leadership since 2012. She began her love of advocacy at the YMCA where her son was enrolled. Anisika has since worked with Head Start and now is a successful entrepreneur where she is still supporting and advocating for parents in her city. Whoa, yeah. And of course, I'm your host, Sarita Sashington. Super excited to be here with you guys today. Thank you guys so much for doing this webinar. It's so important to hear parent voice and why it matters to them. And I'm hoping that as we have today's conversation, you guys who are here will learn something about the importance of parent voice and also how to, the things that stand out for you about why parent leaders become parent leaders and why they stay. Dr. Onaji, let me ask you first. What does Baba J mean? I read that in your description. What does Baba J mean?
Okay. Short story. Baba
Okay.
is Yoruba and also Akan means father, right?
Okay.
So my grandson couldn't say Onaje, so he wants some kind of way he just came up and said Baba J. So I got renamed by my grandson, and he loves it. He loves the fact that he renamed me. So people up until that point, people used to call me Baba, but of course I'm a grandfather, which is Babu.
Uh-huh.
But I Baba is a pretty commonplace title that's used in the African-centered communities where the men are called Babas, and the mothers are called Mamas.
I love that. I like different names for grandma and granddad or grandmother. And so Baba J, I'm loving that. Thank you for sharing that. So let me ask you guys, and anybody can go first. What inspired you to become a parent leader? Many of you guys have this being with Be Strong Families is not your first parent leader role. but what inspires you to become a parent leader in an organization? I know that you're definitely you're leaders in your own families, but with the different organizations that you volunteered with as a parent leader, what inspires you to become a parent leader, and how did you get involved in this role?
I can go first. For
Okay.
me, like it wasn't a volunteer situation. Like I was literally voluntold to become a parent leader because someone saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself. And her name is Ramonda. And Ramonda, I'm still in touch with her today. And she was the one who gave me my start at the YMCA. She said, you know, you need to go and do this. Show up to the meeting at this time and you're going to learn why you need to be there. So I went to the meeting, and when I was there, I was like, "Oh, you want to know what I think? You want to hear my ideas." And so that was the beginning of it, just being able to open up and share ideas and get information and give information for the people. That was what made me start.
Okay.
That resonates with me as well. I came because my being a parent ambassador with AOK provided us an opportunity to be trained with Be Strong Family. And I really believe in what Be Strong Family stands for. I deal with children that are underprivileged to help them, understand speech delays and things and getting family assistance. And with Be Strong Family is what we do is we come together and transform people through conversations, but it's the adult side. So I get a chance to rewound and meet new friends. I have a good girlfriend here, Andrea, that I've met through the Parent Cafe, that we keep up with each other. And it's good to come to and have an adult conversation with others, and you're normal, and it's awesome.
So in the background, you might see a picture with Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King, two of my heroes. So they've inspired me and given me the definition of what manhood is. Malcolm X says that, a father means being responsible. So I'm reading the book. It's called Slavery, Fatherhood, and Paternal Duty. And I bring that up is because history has so much to do with us, not just in terms of facts and figures, but who we are as a people. And only when we decide to go back and fully understand the history that we've gone through and how that's created historical trauma, will we be able to actually solve it. So things came together. As the fatherhood coordinator for the Foundation for Delaware County, which is right next to Philadelphia, in my role as a fatherhood coordinator, what I do is help fathers in the parenting process, right? From the pregnancy to the birth and to postpartum. And then that's when I found out about Be Strong Families. And I said, wow, this is the best thing since, peanut butter and jelly. So as a result of seeing the tremendous work that Be Strong Family does, I said I got to get involved. So this one thing just kind of led to another. So it's really a lot of areas just came together. And since then, it's been a major part of my life.
Thank
That's
you. So
oh,
what? Oh, go ahead, Andrea. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I was thinking about it. What inspired me when I first got introduced with Parent Cafes. It was a training that I was scheduled to be on, and it was 3 years ago. And what happened for me within that time of going to training, I lost my father. So it was pivotal for me because at one point I am a parent, but then I lost my parent. And what really got me to want to still be part of this was how Be Strong Families rallied around me and helped me in that transition. And I was like, hey, I have to go do this. It was and Sarita was one of those persons that was like, go do this during your break and go do that. And so when I saw how they didn't know me from Adam, I was a stranger, and how that team rallied around me in such a time of transition of 1 minute being a parent but losing a parent. I was like, nah, this is for me. This is my place. This is my home. And so that's what really inspired me to be that person, how they were for me, to stand in the gap when when you're lost. And so I was that person now I want to be that person to stand in the gap and be that parent for others. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Thank you guys. That's pretty cool. Um, so collaboration is key in any leadership position. How do you foster collaboration and teamwork between each other, between Be Strong families, between um, both now and in other organizations where you were a volunteer? How did you foster collaboration and teamwork between you and the staff? And you can think about Be Strong Families, or you can think of, other organizations.
You know,
Volunteer.
when here at the Foundation for Delaware County, we had people who were trained in doing cafes. We didn't have anyone trained or even experienced in doing dad cafes. So I reached out to Be Strong Families and got a lot of help and assistance, from people from all across the country, from Chicago, from uh, Texas, Florida, and so my first introduction was the introduction that was well, received and welcomed, and had the support of many people around the country.
Thank you. Anyone else want to weigh in on this?
Yeah, we were trained through you guys, and so now that AOK is trained, now we've encompassed it through the entire District 300. So now when we have our cafes, because we had such a good experience, and the questions are deep, it really gets deep. You get a chance to really rely on each other. And so we have like a group text that we formulate together, and we say, hey, we're going to get a cafe going. We come up with our topics to get that information out, and we spread it through our community through a blast email, just almost like you have your emergency alerts with your regular school districts. So basically it goes out to the parents to come and be involved as well. And also it has an open invitation if they want to join and things like that. So we just open it up to the community, and we get it out through email and text message.
Thank you. I'm wondering, some of you guys have been with Be Strong Families for a while. Some of you guys have been with us since we started. And we have definitely gone through a lot of changes, a lot of ups and downs. For those of you guys who don't know, we are equity thought leaders, Be Strong Families. So we've always been of the mind in this space that parents should be compensated for them helping to make us great for the work that they do, that they shouldn't just do it because it's benefiting their families. But we also understand that that it's important to honor people, by compensating them. So yes, the parent leaders, the team, when they help with things, they do get compensated. But in the last year or so, we've had some serious ups and downs where, it was touch and go for a minute financially, in the financial space, right? What keeps you motivated to stay with an organization? What keeps you motivated? And think about when you weren't getting paid, but because all organizations don't pay, what keeps you there? What keeps you motivated to keep coming back and working with those organizations?
I can weigh in on that. The thing that keeps me motivated is seeing it's the result, right? It's the result. Like, how you feel when you accomplish something, or when you got that little pin that said like you did that thing for your family or your child. But sharing that information and seeing someone else get that little pin or that little nudge or that little, kind of internal warm hug. Like, I always have said, from the moment that I started doing parent cafes, that the impact of it is so great that I would do it for free. right? Like while I enjoy, getting the compensation, that's not the important part. It's the difference that's being made in someone's life, because a lot of parents don't have other parents to parent with, or other adults to have conversations with. And a lot of times going through your parenting life, you feel like you're the only one going through it. You feel like you're the only parent whose kid is maybe acting out or has health issues, or, you just don't know what to do. But then when you come into spaces, you find out, oh, I'm not alone. And so that right there, helping parents figure out that they are not alone, is the thing that keeps me going forward, and the thing that keeps me willing to show up every time for them.
Yeah, I want to divvy on that because that was something I was thinking too. What motivated me was the immediate results, right? When you do that parent cafe, we have our harvest time, and there's times where I'm in that host, standing in as a table host, and there is that person that's quiet and not saying anything, and you're just like, okay, and then all of a sudden you have those moments where they're crying, and then when the harvest comes, or they're telling their one word and explaining and saying, I wouldn't know, I would have been down if I never stepped on this. So you get that immediate result, not of, oh, you know what, I do matter. Me stepping on and pressing that button, or going in person and setting up the different things, it's worth it, because you do get that extreme result. And hearing those parents saying, I'm so glad y'all did this. Where were y'all all my life? Stuff like that. So yeah, that's what motivates me, because I'm not waiting a month later to see. I see it right away. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else want to weigh in? Let me ask you this. How important is equity in your role as a parent leader? How important is equity? Feeling like you're being treated fairly, like you're being included, like your voice is being heard. How important is equity to you in your role as a parent? I know this wasn't a question that I gave you guys to think about. So it's coming up for me.
It's important to me because when I first, I have a learning difference. And when I first started the team, I was like, nah, I can't do this. Especially when it came down to training and learning stuff, I was like, I'm not going to be able to hold my weight as a team member. And so now equity was very important. It wasn't at first, but the importance of knowing your voice, or having your voice be heard as a parent, is very important, to the point that now I step back, take off that professional hat to make sure some other person's voice is heard. So equity is very important, regardless of your weaknesses. Everybody matters. Everybody, everybody has a purpose in some kind of way. So to rally with the team, and they're like, girl, don't worry about it. We still need you. And there's times we get that phone call, we need you now, so it feels good to know that you're needed. So, and I want everybody to feel that way. So yeah, equity is very important, to know that you matter. So that would be my answer.
I think equity is important also because it gives you a boost of confidence, right? Like when you know that you are valued, and that like what you're saying is, even if like it's considered, even if they don't use your idea, like it was considered, like you considered that I spoke that thing, and you considered that like what I said. That's so important, because in so many places, in life, what you say doesn't matter. Like when you go to work, if you aren't in a management position, then that doesn't, like, a lot of times you don't get to give feedback or have a comment. But as a parent leader, being valued is super important. It's very, very important. I think that is one of the things that help people become parent leaders also, is that they understand that their voice is important or that their presence is important. And then, you know, there are studies out there to say that parents that are involved with their children's education and advocacy have better outcomes through life for their children. So knowing that you can make the biggest difference in your child's life is something pretty important.
Mhm.
I would say I would agree with all of that. I work in the field of public health, particularly around the issues of reducing infant mortality and reducing maternal mortality. And Black women are dying at such high rates. You can close your eyes and just throw a dot. If Black people were there, they are suffering higher rates, particularly of maternal mortality. It's so egregious that there's talk about the fourth trimester. If you wrap your head around that, you would say, what do you mean the fourth? So many Black women are dying that we have to now look at another at least 3 months, really 6 months after the birth of the child to see if that woman is going to actually survive. So when you speak this concept of equity, it's so essential to the communities that I serve that only when we can get equity will these discrepancies, in fact, be remedied. And this is connected to something that Dr. Yusuf Clyde calls the anti-social contract. He says there is a constitution, which is called, social contract, but he says it doesn't say it doesn't give you the full mechanism of what that political instrument is supposed to do. He says, as there is a social contract, there's an anti-social contract. And that's the name of the book, The Anti-Social Contract. And the way that the anti-social contract works is that when you look at the combination of all the policies, you can see how these policies, in fact, continue to create these conditions of inequality. And I'll give you one clear example. 1933, social security was created. How can you create a national policy where you surgically remove the people that need it the most? My great grandmother, Martha Davis, could not get Social Security. Maids were exempt. The workers in the South, the men in the South were exempt as well. So that was just one glaring example of how the anti-social contract works. But if you look at all the policies, you can see that they are creating the conditions for the continued exploitation and marginalization of our people. So if we're not understanding how oppression is a part of our work, we can never really get to those levers of power that's going to reverse the conditions of oppression. And equity is a central key to that. So it's essential. It's at the very heart of everything that I do.
I definitely
Thank
agree with
you.
that.
Mm-hmm. Go
When
ahead.
you're thinking equity in the morale of your place of work, you also have to think about a sense of belonging. When you have the equity in your peers, the sense of belonging, when you're looking at, from the scientific formation, it's the part of your brain that your thirst mechanism. So technically, if you are getting that morale in your workplace, you're getting that help and you have your team members to help you out and things, you're basically almost like you're drinking. And so having that refreshing team member and to say, hey, you know what? I'm not able to do the parent cafe today. And you have that team member like, what's going on? And checking on you. And they come in and they help you out. And even you can still actually attend and still have that good leaning that it makes you feel like you belong because it's not only Be Strong Family, it's literally Be Strong Families. Like when we're coming together, we have that equity togetherness and we're able to transform people through just conversation, simple, just diving deep and just having that, like you say, pulling your professional hats off and we're just being candid with one another. And it just has that sense of belonging, that family structure. Even though you don't know people, you get a chance to meet new people because you guys have the attributes and you understand that you're not alone out here. You have people that you can depend on and you're like refilled, like refreshing. And so that and actually helps you with your morale in the workplace, having that sense of belonging, knowing that your duty, your job matters, knowing that what you're doing is actually transforming and changing people.
Parent leaders often act as advocates for change or improvement. Can you guys tell us about a successful initiative or project you've been involved in? Anyone can
Absolutely.
share. Okay.
With me, we have a system called Iris, and being a parent ambassador. And with the system called Iris, basically, when we initially launched it a couple years ago, we didn't have very many people that was in it. And so over the years, we have all of these. We started out maybe with like 15 organizations. Now we have over 166 organizations that once we put our clients' information in there, it sends out the referrals, whether if they need mental health, if they need medical care, if they need rental assistance, if they need home care. Like we even have programs and partnered up with programs called Light Heat that actually helps with the light, gas, or water bills and things like that. So these programs are out there to assist families, and also it helps people that once did not have access to childcare. It helps them partner up with the YWCA and help them either fill out the application or get them on the list to help with assistance with job care. And so basically, we're still growing and we're still reaching out to other organizations, but right now it's just privy to Illinois. But we are growing, that, and now we're able to help so many other families. So it's a very successful program that gets the information out, because once we get this out to the schools, we're able to have the liaisons instead of them calling everybody and say, hey, can you help with this? Hey, can you help with this? It's like one simple referral, and the organizations actually contact the parents. They don't even contact the person that actually sent out the referral. So it's helped greatly getting the information out, and also getting help to the families that need it the most.
Well, now, what was your role in this in ISIS?
And Iris,
In
basically
Iris? Okay.
by me being a parent ambassador, I do have
Okay.
I'm trained in the system. Whereas if I'm out and about and I'm talking to someone that says, "Oh, you know what, I can't
Mm-hmm.
make ends, I don't have groceries,"
Okay.
right then and there, just off my phone, I can refer them out to someone that can help them. And so, and I think it's so great and hands-on, because even now, like if someone right here and say, hey, I'm in Kane County and I need your help, can you stay after the
Mm-hmm.
webinar? I can literally just get some information from them and just get their information sent out and get them a phone call.
Anyone else want to weigh in on that? Tell us about a successful initiative or project you've been involved in.
Yeah, I would share, like to share. So prior to me being hired, which was what, 3 years ago, um, the organization did what they could in terms of fatherhood, but it wasn't no one to like really man the post. So upon my hiring, we put together a plan, and it's unfolding, starting with internally, right? We have something which called Fatherhood um, Coordinating Committee, which is the group that talks about fatherhood inside of the organization. Then we have an external group that's called Fatherhood Engagement Committee that meets the second Wednesday of each month. And this is the county, all the different agencies come and participate with that. And we have two major goals. One is we started what is called the Fatherhood Summit, which is the Wednesday after each Father's Day in June. And then last year we went big and we created the Fatherhood Awareness Month, where we invite all of people in the community in the county to do an event. So the fact that we're putting these things to motion, we're really building up what is called the fatherhood continuum of care. So fathers get what they need, be it education, be it employment, be it medical services. When we augment the life of the father, we automatically augment the life of the mother and therefore the family. So fathers have been left out purposely, for many years. So it's not by accident when you go to PDA, you don't see the fathers there. They've been told you're not welcome. So now how do we start to change the vote? I mean, even my field in public health, we have WIC, right? Women, infant, and children. We have maternal and infant care. But where's the dad, right? So even in our language, the dad is missing. So our work is including the dad so we can have families. And even if the father and mother are not together, we have to really become expert in terms of helping people participate in what is called co-parenting. So the
Let me
efforts
ask
that,
you,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was just going to ask, what month is Fatherhood Awareness celebrated?
It's June.
The job that did. Oh, during Father's Day. Duh. Okay,
Right.
during Father's Month. Okay, got it. Thank you. I'm going to make sure I note that this June. Oh, Najee, I'm going to keep that in mind. Fatherhood awareness. I like that. Okay. Did anyone else want to share
Yes,
on this way and on this?
I have started a nonprofit called Women Have a Purpose on the Move, which empowers women to know their purpose. What we do is we have once a month, we go on a Zoom and we share our wins. And I just recently just had an empowerment retreat that was very, I feel like the women really grew in this. I started small. It was 9 ladies, 10 including me. And we just had it last weekend and hopes to do furthermore. Of course, we provide services like coaching services and then resources to what women need. And so I didn't think I was willing to do that, but I feel like being here, being part of Be Strong Families, it got me to step up and become a founder of that. And so that's what I have done. And then also I co-lead or co-found with my husband called Strive, where we do things with marriages and families, and we travel all over and do retreats and stuff like that. So that is some of the things that I never would have thought I would step out to do, but that's what we do. So, well, I do. Yeah.
Cool. So, can you guys share a memorable moment or experience that reinforced your commitment to being a parent leader?
So I when my son was in elementary school and middle school, I became the PTA president, which also stemmed from all of the parent leadership stuff I did all through his pre-K through elementary kind of education. And so we put on a carnival one year, and it was probably one of the most difficult things I'd ever done in my life, because when you're the president or the chairperson or the leader, people look to you, right? And so being able to delegate and navigate through every area of that was different. All I wanted to do was the cakewalk, right? I didn't care how y'all got it done. The only thing I cared about was the cakewalk. But still, up to this day, and this has been at least 5 years ago now, the people come up to me and they're like, hey, like, I remember you, like, you did that cakewalk that year at the elementary school. And so being able to have people to like make people happy and to have people to recognize is one of the things that really like keeps me coming back, like just making a difference in people's lives is what really keeps me coming back to it, right? Being able to shed light and share light, shed light and share light and share strength with people, and being able to empower them and help them see their worth and understand that they are, like, it's born in them, and maybe it was pushed down, but I can help you pull it out. Like, that is the thing that like motivates me to keep coming back to it.
I guess the first memorable moment was when I had to do my first training I was so nervous. But I guess what I liked about it was when we had to give them their certificates and say, hey, you're now a parent host, and how that these professionals, they've been doing this, they facilitate it, and they're crying like, oh my God, I can do this. I think that's my first memorable moment, because they had to constantly take their professional hat off to where they felt like they graduated to parenthood, and they've been a parent all these years, right? So that's my first memorable moment, was like, wow, to reach retrain, I guess, or renew minds. And I was there, I was in that seat. I think that was my first movable moment that, oh, you're officially a parent leader, right? So that's that was what comes to mind and keeps me to keep on doing what to me, a small token of what I do, and in hopes to keep staying in it. And because the power of taking that hat off and stepping in. So yeah, that was my memorable moment.
I'd like to
Got
recognize
that.
Pam, who's on, I see her name in the chat. She was one of the persons who helped me to launch Dad's Cafe here in Delaware County. But I mean, those moments come like every week, right? I do a fatherhood program at a correction facility here in Delaware County every Monday. And the things that these men are saying is so important. I give you an example. One man was saying how he sold drugs to his father, and he was saying that he was a stranger, and that's why he had no compassion for him. And he was kind of saying, "Well, I didn't really lose anything," and I had to help him to see that it's a deprived thought to think that you can distance yourself from your father, which is a natural attraction, and not not know that you lost something, right? I had to help him see that even though you didn't have the emotional attachment to him, it's natural to want your father in your life. And he had to sit back and think about it, and he was able to accept it. So those moments when I get a chance to talk to parents, particularly men, and help them see another level of the reality that exists that they have disassociated from and just put to the side, how and when I can help them reintegrate that back into their life, they become whole again. And those are the moments that I live for.
I'm wondering, guys, because we only have like 15 minutes left, but I want to be able to help organizations who struggle with parent engagement, struggle to get parents engaged in volunteering or being a part of their organizations or their schools. What key things, in a couple of words, what key things have organizations, the ones you engage with, be it Be Strong Families, be it other organizations, what key things have those organizations done to encourage you to be engaged and to keep you engaged?
Ooh,
Because I think that food, it's always food. It's always food. But after a while, Anaje, after a while, them 10 chicken wings for $1 for 10 chicken wings for $1 and Little Caesars don't cut it anymore. So what else?
I think it's also building rapport, right? Like building rapport, like being friendly. That's that's a thing, right? Like that's a really important thing. And that was one of the things that's how I was able to be voluntold, because somebody built rapport with me and I trusted them, and I had it wasn't a big relationship, but it was a very small kind of thing between us. And she was able to say, hey, you should do that. So building rapport, I'd say.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I want to add on that too. It was I remember there was many text messages I did personally from a cell phone and then also keeping it a mom and pop at times. I know it's an organization, but having that where it doesn't, like your flyers, that it can't sound professional. And then allowing the parents to reach too. So that was something I had to learn, is to when to let it go, because eventually I become the professional, right? And then now allowing that parent to take it on, and then they keep on passing it on and on and on. Paying it forward, having that environment of paying it forward. And I felt like that is a big success, because now I remember when I first started, everybody knew me. But now it's getting to the point I don't know everybody, because they're now reaching others and they're now reaching others. And I'm like, who are you? And I have to constantly, it's growing to the point I don't know everybody anymore. But yeah, so for me was making sure it stays personal, because eventually it could get stagnant, and the flyers sound, you can go and get those apps and do all those things and it becomes not personal. So it was me making sure that we keep that environment to still have that hug. And so that's what I've done.
That resonates with me. Same here, making sure that it stay personal. I do volunteer a lot at the PTAs, and so making sure that I'm informing them of the next cafe that's coming up and letting them know, asking for feedback. How did they enjoy the last one, and things that we can implement to do differently. So I'm very open to what we can always improve. And getting out to the schools, talking to the parents, as they're walking in to and from, and, passing out the flyers, getting out in my community, of the other, complex. I have a few complexes that are by my home. And so I, walk around, and when you see parents or see someone, I invite them out. And so I really do that footwork on them seeing my face and inviting them personally, showing them how to sign up and making sure that everything is accessible from the flyer, and also getting information. And by me already doing community work, helping out people, as soon as I'm helping someone, I also let them know about the cafes. And even if we as AOK is not having one, I do redirect them to Be Strong Family's website and how to go ahead and access them online. So even if we're not actively doing one, I know Be Strong Family have it way more available than we do. So we do one every 2 months, but I know you guys do like weekly different webinars for them to go in to join. And once they've basically go into the cafe, basically it's word of mouth from that point on, because they have such a good time with conversation that they spread the word themselves.
I heard you guys say relationships, rapport, personal, accessibility, Takayla. I heard you say that, which I think is so important, especially nowadays when the world is evolving in so many different ways, and making sure that people feel like there are flyers in their languages. And when are you having the cafe, or when are you having the events, and surveying parents. I think I also heard you say getting feedback with uh you know getting feedback, like what's important, how did this go, blah blah blah. So yeah, Mary Ann said, tell more about how to pass the lead on to a parent. Marianne, are you speaking in regards to cafes? Tell more about how to pass on the lead to a parent. Okay. All right. So I'll tell you how we do it here at Be Strong's when there's a parent cafe. We train agencies how to do parent cafes. And sometimes there's parents at the training, and sometimes there aren't. What we try to do when there are not parents at a cafe, at a training, and they have to take it back, we encourage them to do um, like hands-on. I'm missing the word, Andrea, but it's hands-on, right? We encourage them to go and they co-host a cafe with the parents. After the parent comes to a cafe and they love it so much, like, oh my God, we love these cafes. Then we encourage them to co-host alongside a parent. And then the parent does some parts, and the staff person or whatever, right? They do some parts and the parent does some parts. Eventually, the parent takes on more of the cafe host role, and the staff person just moves completely out the way. That's how that works. And that's how you build your parent cafe team up, is to just have them co-hosting with each other until they just move out the way, until they feel comfortable and they're supporting. Did I miss anything, guys? Or you want to weigh in?
Probably, if you said it, maybe I missed it. To be a table host first, because I heard you say co-host. So I don't know if you said table host first. That's what we usually do. Train people how to
Yeah.
be the table host and then move up that ladder. But we haven't successfully got people to get to the top part and then step back. We're still working on that part.
Right, because you know what happens in cafes, and I don't want to take us down a rabbit hole with cafes, because we all love cafes and we can go there. What happens is sometimes we train people and they don't want to let go of the cafe host role. Sometimes they're like, the parents can't do it. They were at the training. But if you can do it, the parents can do it, right? So it's just a matter of letting it go. And if they want to do any part, if they want to do any part, and I do mean any part, if they say, can I scribe? Oh my gosh, I love scribing. Can I scribe? Let them scribe. And then you do the rest of it. If they say, I like the agreements. Can I just do the agreements? Let them do the agreements and you do the rest of it. Eventually, they'll feel more comfortable taking on more of that role and they'll move right into it. And then it takes the heavy lifting off of you and it's done within the fidelity of the model with the parents leading. Bam, they do this. I definitely have had to kick team members off who got comfortable being table hosts forever. I was like, no, that's it. You've been doing table hosts for 20 years. We need you to be a cafe host. And I kicked them out the nest, and some of them are here today, and they will tell you, yes, Sarita kicked us out and made us cafe hosts. Because if I can do it, they can do it. There's no difference between us. We're equally all fabulous and we all have something to bring to the table. So it's just taking people through the space. Thank you for that question. Essie said, asking Kat, is the IRIS platform a state of Illinois system that any one organization can access? Please speak on getting connected to that.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that question, Essie. But yes, right now it's to Illinois, but you can still put your information on there. And so what we can do is get the information, spread it around in your county, and we can actually grow in that manner. So I'll leave my information there if you want to send me your information, and I can go ahead and pass it to my superiors to get you added to the system and see what we can do about your county and your state, and see if our grant would allow us to open it up to other states right now, because right now we're under a grant program. And so absolutely, I would definitely get this information out.
Takayla, I just want to say I absolutely love that. That's how Be Strong Family started, under a grant, right? That's how the cafe work started. So, once the money runs out, you just need a couple of dedicated people who will take that hit, you know, and say, all right, let's keep this going. Michelle, you say we don't have these specifics in the agreements. Which specifics, Michelle? Talk to us. What you trying to say? And Essie says they're in Cook County. Fantastic. We'll give Michelle a second to drop her to provide a little clarity on her statement. And I'm going to ask one more question to the panel. I think this has been great. What has been maybe no, let me see. How do you manage this? I'm just really curious because Takayla says she has like 12,000 things going on. Anisika, I know, has 12,000 things going on. So does Anaji. How do you guys balance this, being a parent leader and all the other stuff that you got going on? How do you balance this? Just share.
Time management. My schedule, what I tell you, my calendar is my friend. If I had a thing to show you my calendar, you would say, girl, please. Okay. It's literally everything, and you have to have everything timed. And I also leave me some time for myself as well, because it's very important to get that grounding time for yourself. So I'm a big meditator in the morning. So I get up at the crack of dawn. The birds are not even chirping yet, to get my mind ready for the day. And then once I am on, because a big part of my life and a big part of my career is basically servicing people. And so that's what I try to do. And with the nonprofit that you said, that you heard that I'm building, is through the jobs that I already have and through my business, the companies that I have, I'm going to try to get people to work, give them an opportunity to come to work either with me or get them prepared for the workplace. So it's just getting your mind ready, having a good schedule, adhering to your schedule, and not overscheduling yourself. So if I have a couple meetings in that day, that's all I have, maybe about 2 to 3 meetings. And then I make sure I have that other set time for other things that I have to do, because I also have a family, and I cut off work at a certain time. So certain time is just family time. So, and nothing else gets anything. Family takes precedence. When the kids are home, is full attention, because as I was speaking about that belonging earlier, it's the third part of your brain. So I just want to make sure that they have my undivided attention, and it's all about them when they're home, and work is work.
Thank you. Anyone else want to weigh in?
Just to piggyback off of what she said, also being able to separate the two, right? So being able to separate the different entities of your life, right? So that somebody is putting in that work-life separation or work-life balance, even though everything you do is not necessarily, it doesn't feel like work, you still have to put it in its specific place or the proper place, so that you can take the time to do that thing and then take the step away from it to do something else, whether that's taking a nap, getting some food, or moving into something with your family. So being able to separate things.
I guess for me, I just try to when I do the parent leading, I have certain days I know I'm going to do it on. So if it's not available, they give us schedules. So if it's not on those days, I know I can't say yes. I let my yay be yay, my nay be nay. And from there, if it's something that I know that I need to do it, then I'll try my best. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I have a support team when it comes down to navigating what I deem, because I'm a spiritual leader, what I deem as ministry. If it wasn't for my sister friends, man, I wouldn't be able to do it. I have an amazing assistant that helps me and reminds me. I have people that tell me, hey, don't forget this. And then I have my team here, where when they see I'm overwhelmed, they're like, girl, it's okay. And so it's not like a check the block or you better make it, because we're all doing mission work here. We all have a goal, and we're all coming on here because it's our passion, it's our drive. And so if I'm not in the right spirit, they usually were like, it's okay. So if this is something you're thinking about doing, this is a safe place for you to stick your toes in, because we love here. This is a mission, this is a work, but it's a hard work. It's not like something that is, and then you wind up benefiting, because there's times I get on that thing and I'm like, whoo, that was good for me. I'm lifted. So usually for me, I just let my yes be yes and my no be no. And when I say no, they're not looking at me crazy. And I have a support group for me. That's my answer on that.
So there's a psychiatrist, his name is France Fanon, brilliant psychiatrist from Martinique. And one of his quotes is, each generation out of its own relative obscurity must discover its mission, either to fulfill or betray. And I've looked at that almost like a static, like when you get 20, you got to figure it out, right? But now I have a different attitude. I have a different way of understanding that quote, because as we go through life, you're a toddler, you're a young person, you're a teenager, you're a young adult, you're a middle-aged adult, you're a senior. I'm a senior. So now I have to look at my life. What do seniors do? What do elders do? I'm learning, right, from other elders. So it's looking at the stage of life that I'm in and saying I can't be the same kind of community activist I was for the last 30, 40 years. I got to be a different kind of I have to assume a different role as an elder. One group I work with out in Pennsylvania, in Allentown, a promised neighborhood, they have given me an award and it says, you are community elders. So they're helping me come into this new stage of life. And with that new stage comes a balance that they're helping me to actually obtain.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I just want to say, just from my heart, thank you to all of you. You guys are amazing. I feel so blessed to be able to partner with you guys, do the great work that we do at Bichon Families. I don't have any words because I remember what it was like to be a parent leader, volunteering in organizations and what it took for me to stay. So thank you guys so much. Michelle, you are right. We do not have a duration we do not have a duration for how long you have to be a table host. Okay. That is not duration. However, at Beach, I feel like for me in my house, at Be Strong, I just had people they were afraid. It wasn't that they couldn't do it. I don't know if you heard a couple of them mention they were nudged. Somebody nudged them or volunteered them that they should get involved. And the same was my story. Somebody volunteered me that I should get involved. And I was like, what? So it was a gentle, out of love, nudging for them to get out of the nest, and then it just sort of took off, and that person, those people are all fantabulous cafe hosts, and they're doing work all over the place. So yes, there is no duration that they need to be a table host before they move to a cafe host. I just knew that they could do it, and I wanted them to get out of their way. Thank you. Lori, can you go to the next slide, our ending slides, please, so we can thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for your comments and your questions. What's next? If you guys don't know, Friday, May 17th, we are addressing racial trauma in young children in Xavier University in New Orleans. So please sign up. It's going to be fantastic. It's led by our own Dr. Cerisi West Olatunje. We would love to have you there. I'm going to be there. It's going to be awesome. Next slide. We also have for our upcoming webinars, we have Positively Impacting Addiction. That's with Alliance and Recovery on April 12th. So mark your calendars for that. And then Authentic Feminine Leadership is July 31st with Monica Monet and our very own Kathy Getz, our CEO. So we would love, use the QR code, join us there. And then we have upcoming Taste of Cafes. There is one this Friday. So if you'd like to, if you haven't been to a cafe yet, you may want to pop into this one. Yes, women are welcome to come, although we really just want to encourage dads to take over that space, right? But women are welcome. And then any of these cafes, mark your calendar, use the QR code, and meet us there. Thank you, Michelle. And then get to know our speakers and teachers. If you are looking for people to, speakers, teachers, presenters for any of your stuff at your agencies or whatever, feel free to contact us, right? Or to contact the people in the speakers and teachers bureau. We don't have anything to do with it. We just provide a space for them to get connected, work out all the details with them. That's a great resource for you. And then next. And if you have parent leader stuff, you can always contact us, and you can have parent leaders come and speak at your events or organizations, whatever, because they got the goods. This is our newest coloring book. It's awesome. I'm so glad. Thank you, Michelle. This is our newest coloring book. We have discounts available for bulk sales, so check it out. Is that it, Lori? What else we got? And then if you benefited from or value from what we do, whether it's the webinars, the Taste of Cafes, whatever it is, feel free to donate. We are not turning down donations. Okay? Just like the church in here, pass a plate. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We really appreciate it. To the team, I cannot thank you enough. You guys are rock stars. You are awesome. Thank you guys. And thank you to everybody who joined us and stayed over a little bit later. We appreciate you. See you next time. Bye. Bye, guys.